This video is a film study focused not just on the Seahawks defense coming out of their Week 11 loss to the Rams 21-19 out in LA, but also to focus on the short yardage schemes and techniques that Mike Macdonald and Aiden Durde are deploying. What players are making it possible for them to be so dominant in these goal line / short yardage situations, as well as how they're not just getting stops consistently, but they're sending a message to the offense while doing so. We'll get the film started quickly here, and we're going to pick up on the Rams' first possession. Of course, this is going to result in, or complete in, I should say, a goal line stand by the Seahawks on a 4th and 1. Let's start on a 2nd and 6. Nick Manwari is spot shadowed here in purple. It's going to be a lead concept, or at least it looks like one. Ends up being play action. When I say lead, that means that the fullback / tight end and the tailback, in this case Williams, are going in the same direction. Their flow is to the same side. And Manwari doesn't know that it's a pass play initially, so he's taken on the block by the tight end and then has the athleticism to keep up with Williams out in the flats. It's a design play, if you ask me, to attack him or attack whoever the defender is that steps up to possibly take on this lead block by the tight end. And what I mean when I say that is check out the route that you've got by Adams at the bottom side of the screen. To me, it's just really, a clear-out route. It doesn't mean that there's not an option to throw him the football because he's running basically like a seam fade, if you will, that possibly Matt Stafford could try to access a little bit later if he had time. Same play from the end zone angle. Manwari is off-screen to our right. Coming to the screen here a little bit late, and you'll see how he steps up into the B gap as he reads the tight end, the fullback / tailback tandem or combo. Looks like lead zone for a moment, so he's stepping up to take on the block, and then has the athleticism and awareness and vision to be able to see the running back try to cross his face, keep up with him. I'm not sure if he gets a pass defense or not, but it sets up a 3rd and 6 where they target Manwari once again. This time it's an empty set, and once again it's going to be Williams, the running back, who is the target, up into the boundary. Kind of like a little shake-out concept, but really, if you ask me, it's attached to what's quite obviously a shield route by the outside receiver. In this case, it's Davante Adams. So he's going to try to get to Manwari's outside shoulder and not allow Manwari to quickly match the width of that route by Kyren Williams. Stafford looking there almost immediately. Manwari has to go over the top, accept some of the contact. I thought that Williams got this, to be honest with you, at live speed. And then they showed the replay, and I still thought maybe he got it, by an inch or two across the line. Really violent finish by Manwari. Seattle is just, it doesn't seem like they enjoy tackling. It seems like they actually seek it out. This is a great tackling team generally. Well, let me rephrase that. When they are playing exceptional on defense, it's because they're making tackles like this. That really should have been a first down from the standpoint of the momentum that Williams had and the width that had been created by the pick or the shield concept, and Manwari able to recover and create a 4th and 1. Seattle specializes in these. I think they're dominating these short yardage dynamic, and they're doing so from a unique look, if you ask me. Oftentimes, they're able to get to this look from a dime standpoint, a nickel standpoint. Now here, they've actually substituted. So they've got 3 edge defenders on the field. Hall, Lawrence, who I think is a great short yardage player, and then Nwosu, I would describe him in the same manner. But they can get to this look from their nickel platform, basically by sliding the Manwari up as one of the outside linebacker edge defenders. So Nwosu is going to initially engage this outside tight end, who's going to try to release into the flats. It's a play action to the top side of our screen. You can see Stafford and the running back, they don't mesh, but they're faking run action to the top side. And it's just another example of what everybody in the NFL is doing, these C-gap insert plays, whereby one tight end is stepping out to an edge defender, and a receiver, tight end, whatever, in motion is inserting into the C-gap. Sometimes it's to lead up on a defender on a run play, and sometimes in the case of this one, it's to release out into a route. It's a short yardage or 4th and 1 situation. Stafford's got a pump fake because Nwosu elevates. I think Nwosu, Lawrence, and Nick Manwari really make this go from the standpoint of being able to be hybrids. And Nwosu is obviously, just an edge defender, but his versatility, his ability to adjust during the play, in this case, getting up in the air to get in that window. It's obviously open. Manwari is on this tight end, who I think went in motion, and Bryant should be on this tight end. That's the outside tight end that initially engaged Nwosu. Ends up being an incomplete pass, I think, because of the ability of Nwosu to elevate and then get his feet back in the ground and possibly still get after Matt Stafford. In addition, I think Leonard Williams plays a role here. Keep in mind, this is a 4th and 1. Like I said, watch Leonard Williams. Oftentimes, the outside D tackles, the guys that are in 4 eyes, I'm not sure what they're reading, if they're looking at the hip or something of the inside blocker, or if they're looking at the tackle and basically waiting a down block, but they're so spectacular at swimming over the top. And whether it's Lawrence, whether it's Williams, Byron Murphy does it as well sometimes, but swims over the top. We're talking about Leonard Williams here, and then able to shrug off the tight end. He plays a role here, in my opinion, as well as Nwosu getting up in the air. It's that Stafford knows he does not have nearly as much time as, maybe the all-22 angle made it look for a moment. Ends up being an incomplete pass and a great stop in another short yardage situation. 2 plays later, or perhaps 3, they're thrust in the same exact scenario, and it's after Darnold's first interception. So it's a 1st and goal here. They're going to motion Puka Nacua off screen to our right. Now, they could get into a goal line look here, they be in Seattle, but they're not because of the formation. I think it's because of the fact that Stafford is in the shotgun with the running back set to his right. It's a 12 personnel group, 2 tight ends, 1 here and 1 here. And the scheme that the Rams are utilizing is a double on Leonard Williams. DeMarcus Lawrence is going to stem down, and so the tight end is going to block him down. Nacua off screen is going to go to lead to try to kick out an edge defender, or in this case, Okada walked up as a safety. So I would call this a same side run, zone kick. And there's just always someone that shows up for Seattle's defense, whether it's a short yardage situation or not. I mean, they're not infallible, right? They do give up first downs. Well, not many in this game, 12, in fact. But there's always someone who shows up. Corum, his jump cut or his attempt at a move to the outside, was interrupted a little bit, so he had to get his hand on the ground and try to stay up. So he had 3 points of contact. Job is there first, then Leonard Williams. They're not active. They're hyperactive. It almost looks like sometimes they have 12 people on the field in these short yardage situations. To me, in my experience, a great or even a very good short yardage defense, they actually want to be in that setup. They actually want to be confronted with the opportunity to make these stops. And I think it's about more than just exhibiting who you are. I think it's about sending a message to the other team that we can stop the run, we can stop whatever you line up in. Really great look at the goal line look here for Seattle. So first, these 2 guys are spectacular on this particular snap. It's Lawrence and Murphy, but this is the look that you're generally getting for whatever reason. I didn't expand that to include Drake Thomas, but in any case, it's a downhill run concept by the running back. And again, you've got a wide receiver, Nacua, trying to kick out an edge defender, or in this case, it happens to be Kobe Bryant, the safety. I was close to trying to get a video done on Bryant, just really run out of time this week once again. But watch the ability, first of all, of Murphy to swim here over top of the guard's down block. If you're missing it, we're talking about Murphy as well as Lawrence. Lawrence doesn't swim as effectively, but he does get off the block and make first contact right at the goal line. Again, live speed, I thought Corum was in, but when you saw the replay, it was pretty obvious that Seattle was able to hold him off. Lawrence, I think, is a great short yardage asset. He can play outside linebacker, hybrid defensive tackle, 4-eye, whatever the case is. He refuses to be blocked. He's going to arrive at the football, and when he arrives there, he's going to have some attitude and try to make the tackle violently. This is about the time where if you've ever been involved in a goal line stand, you're like, okay, this is it, this third down play, then we're going to put all the pressure on the offense on 4th down. Now, credit to the Rams. They come back and score after this play, but I'm showing you these plays to illustrate how effective I think this look is and the reasons why I think that it's working so well. Part of the reason is these stacked 4 defensive linemen inside. Sometimes Seattle is subbing to get that done. Sometimes it's just their nickel look. And their ability to swim over the top and basically make an offensive lineman miss on an attempted down block is adding players at the point of attack at times. That's not exactly the dynamic that occurs here. I'm just trying to explain to you what I really like about this scheme or the way that Seattle's getting this done. It's a lead concept here. I would say just, lead zone. Pretty much everybody working in this direction for the offensive line. And then Wosu just pulls a disappearing act on the tight end fullback trying to lead and kick him out. It's the most slight little skip to the side. Tight end has his head down, maybe, nose over toes too far, and Wosu just jumps to the outside. But also on the back end here, man, Lawrence is getting cut. The right tackle's cutting him, and then the tight end actually engages. I'm not saying it should be an illegal block, but we're talking about what occurs here. Sometimes these things happen. It's an attempted cut by the tackle, then the tight end engages him while he's still being cut. So, there would be some justification for talking about, you're not able to do that, essentially almost like a chop block scenario. But first contact in Wosu. Second is Lawrence. It's almost like a competition within the defense to see who can get there first. Sets up a 4th and goal, and credit to the Rams for basically saying, okay, we're going to stop attacking a walled city, that short yardage / goal line look that Macdonald and Durday are throwing out there. So this is the 4th and 1. Actually shouldn't say lead zone stopped. It's a touchdown by Williams. I like the concept, man, to be honest with you. The tight end's going to motion across here late and then go to kick out Lawrence, who's unblocked. It's obviously not a zone read with Matt Stafford back there at quarterback for a lot of reasons. Number one, his speed or lack thereof, but also look at the running back's path. He's getting his foot back to then run downhill. That's all designed to really get underneath of this kick out block by the tight end, or at least give him the option to veer off in that direction. If you're at all familiar with the wing T, this will be basically akin to weak side power with the halfback from a 100 or a 900 formation. So downhill path is a really nice play. Like I said, there's a layer built into it for Williams that he could go underneath of this kick out block by the tight end, but that's not exactly what occurs. He ends up taking it to the front side, and the Rams, like I said, they deserve credit for going away from an approach that wasn't working, and that's the goal line / short yardage look that Seattle has been using pretty much all year to get stops whenever they want to. A little bit of comment about the game here, and then I'll actually show another goal line or short yardage look from earlier in the season. For me, to watch the All-22 film, which I really didn't get to until Tuesday night or Wednesday for Seattle, for the defense to nearly overcome what they did, you're talking about a -3 turnover deficit against the Rams. At this point, the Seahawks defense, I think they know what they can do. Not just in a rematch against the Rams, but really anyone else. They potentially can dominate you regardless of situation. 1st and 10, 3rd and 8, midfield, or short yardage / goal line. It's a badass group, a lot of fun to watch. I think the evidence was there earlier in the year as far as their short yardage success on the defensive side. I'm going to show you one here from their Week 7 home win over the Texans, ironically, where they were again at a deficit for turnovers, -3 to be specific, but still won the game. Keeping in mind the touchdown run by Williams that I just showed you on the second possession for the Rams, I think we can kind of start to understand what teams will and will not try to do in these short yardage situations. So this is a 3rd and 1, like I said, Week 7 at home against the Texans. Now, Lawrence, like I said, makes this possible, in my opinion, being able to vacillate between an edge defender and or a hybrid defensive tackle. But this is Lawrence in here, and then that is Leonard Williams. Just watch the path that they will take. Sometimes I think this is predetermined. I'll come back to that graphic here in a moment. Sometimes I think this is predetermined, and sometimes I think it's just a read and they're reacting to something. We're talking about Lawrence and Williams, what they do post-snap here, avoiding swimming over the top of those down blocks by the tackles. I think what's really happening here is that they're clearing up the B gap for the inside linebacker. So if you look pre-snap, A-gap, D-tackle, A-gap, D-tackle, and Williams and Lawrence are obviously responsible for B. But with those guys swimming to the outside, they're taking C, and that gives the inside linebackers, number one, the ability to go through B-gap if it's open, if it's an open window. It's actually not here for Okada, who's walked up in the box. But it also becomes a force multiplier on outside run concepts. Basically, if you go to the outside, that swimming defensive end, whatever you want to call Lawrence and Williams, he's got the ability to pursue from inside out. Now, that's not the way that this works out here. I'm just describing to you that they think they've covered all their bases. In addition, if you want to say that Jones is responsible for B-gap here and Okada is responsible for B-gap here because of the swimming nature of the defensive ends, now Jones becomes an add-on into the B-gap on the other side, and that's what happens here. Basically, I think Seattle is trying to create a situation where they get 1.5 or even 2 guys into a specific gap on a downhill run concept in these short yardage situations. Probably a better way to describe it. But in this moment, that's how it flowed here. This created a 4th and 1. We'll show you that play. I'm a huge fan of what they're doing overall defensively. I have more to say about the Rams game, but I just ran out of time this week related to the second half, especially the 3 stops in the fourth quarter when Mike Macdonald and Aiden Durde just basically said, okay, we're going to go to a 1 high safety structure, play man, and we're going to match you no matter what, and whittle down the options for Sean McVay as a play caller. Whether Sean McVay let off the gas a little bit or Seattle had the right strategy, I'm not exactly sure where you fall on that opinion. But in any case, let's check out this 4th down play against the Texans as an illustration of how it can look when you got the swimming dynamic of the defensive end over top of the tackle and a little bit more of an angled or almost off-tackle run play. I think it's Meeks, the rookie, going off tackle. Not to say that the Texans' offensive line, really matches up here at all, but Lawrence swimming over the top and Nwosu getting upfield looks very similar, if you ask me, to the 3rd and goal run concept where Nwosu got upfield and then jumped outside of the tight end, and then Lawrence from behind after being cut / chopped was able to get to the football as well. This is a great group in short yardage situations. It's a fantastic scheme, in my opinion. Not saying that I've never seen it before, but I suspect the way that Seattle is teaching it is what's making it operate at such a high level. A prediction here, based on the film that I watch and what I think I understand, I think teams are going to avoid these situations altogether. I don't mean avoid 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1, but avoid these under center, downhill run concepts or even off-tackle angled flow because, well, look at the film that we just showed you. The comparison between Williams' touchdown run on the second possession and all the other downhill run concepts that I just showed you. I could have picked 3 or 4 other short yardage stops that Seattle's made so far this year. I think they're playing a amazing brand of defense no matter who's in the game. And it really held up in Week 11 against the Rams. I know that you lost the game 21-19, but held L.A. to 249 yards of offense and 12 first downs. I don't believe it was L.A. saying, oh, we have the lead, we're going to let off the gas and coast here the rest in 3rd gear. No. Watch the second half. Now, the Rams did generate a touchdown drive, I think, late 3rd quarter, but 3 stops in the 4th quarter for Seattle. They can switch modes to a different style of defense whenever they choose to. I didn't get a chance to cover that here. Perhaps, I can do so sometime this weekend or maybe after the Week 12 games. They have a lot of depth on defense, and people talk about depth all the time, as well they should. And, a 17-game season that oftentimes includes these BS Thursday night football games. But there's more than just depth of player talent in Seattle. There's depth of approach and adjustability, some of which I can't necessarily put my finger on, but I do know this. From their nickel platform, they can basically match whatever you do, whatever you line up in, and be sound, prepared, and capable of getting a stop. They did it against the Rams in those short yardage situations. It took until the 5th or the 6th snap for the Rams to finally get a touchdown, the one by Williams that puts them up 7-0. In any case, it wasn't a comprehensive look at the totality of the game against LA, the loss in Week 11, but a portion of their approach and their scheme that I think is unique and is working quite well in 2025. Appreciate you guys' time, man. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know in the comment section, number one. Number two, if you'd like to see my work shared with a larger audience, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media somewhere so other Seahawks fans can enjoy it as well.